Tylor. I'm 26 years old. I was born in Ayr, which is just south of Townsville, and throughout my life I've slowly moved down the east coast. And I converted to Islam, I think it was 2007. It's funny, I don't remember exactly what it is. My family, I have a brother and a mother and a father, as you do. My mother and father, I don't want to label them with religious things. I think they would be titled as agnostic, if not atheist. My brother, I have a running joke when I talk to people about my brother. I call him, he makes atheism look like a fundamentalist religion. But that has its history as well. Let's talk about my mum comes from Bundaberg, and in her religious experience, she lived in a time where Protestants walked on this other side of the road of Catholics. So I think that has a profound effect on her affiliation with any religion. And that sort of thing also affects my brother's affiliation with religion. My father's family are Baptists. And I used to go to church with Grandma and Granddad. And I would actually ask to go to church with them. And I would ask my mum to take me to Sunday school, which I'm sure she didn't mind because it's free babysitting. So throughout my life, I actually reached out for a religion. Well, Christianity was there, and I went to an Anglican school, and as part of that schooling system, you do attend church, and the Christians who do so take the communion, and that intrigued me, and that kind of thing. And so I grew up to be Christian, but I kind of hid my Bible under the bed and kept it. Didn't talk openly about it too much with my family. But I think they knew that I was like religion. And when I went to Spain and got to see what the Catholics do, and that was nice. Knowing about Islam, I think, can be broken down into different sections. There are times that I clearly didn't know about Islam or about Muslims. I think as a kid, and I only realise this now that I've converted, I used to drive past, on the way to school, on the bus, the mosque from Mackay. Every day I'd drive past the mosque. Didn't know it was a mosque. Thought it was a Masonic lodge. It was the moon. I thought it was the same as that thing. And they would have gatherings and stuff, and I just thought, well, that's just a community group. But yeah, now that I've converted, I realise it's a mosque. And when I went to a Christian school, an evangelical Christian school, when I finally moved down to Brisbane, and they spoke of a religion where Jesus was a prophet. I thought that was very believable compared to what I thought was very complicated, a holy trinity of Jesus as the Son, but he's also God, and that I thought, well, that's understandable that people can believe that. I don't know if my knowledge of Islam increased. I think when I went to Spain, I definitely understood about mosques and stuff because of the Islamic occupation of that area. There was clear evidence of the Islamic Empire there, and the school I went to organised trips to the mosque and spoke about needing to cover when you were there. While I was in Spain, September 11 happened, and I think that really sort of made it clear what Islam was. You could label these things now, like it wasn't just someone wearing a scarf, and I don't know, maybe they were from Latvia or something, or from some Eastern Bloc country. But yeah, so I could say, well, that person's Muslim. Then it came into university, where I began to meet Muslims. I also went to Indonesia near the end of my degree, and that was very interesting. I mean, I was woken up by the adhan and was quite annoyed by it because the mosque was just on the next block and it was very loud. But we also had a good friend who showed us around. Like, we would take her with us, and we would make sure that we stopped and she took time to pray, and we thought it was nice. We got to see the Muslims there. I was in Bandung at one of the universities there, and on Friday the girls would sit in groups and read the Quran. The guys would go off to pray. I remember one incident where I was in the office at the university, and this guy came in and he had like droplets of water all over his face and arm, and I'm like, I had just been very sick the day before, and I said, oh, do you have a fever? He said, oh no, I just went and washed myself, because he just made wudu, like the cleaning process before you pray. I didn't know, I was so embarrassed. Also, I had a trip to from Bandung to Jakarta, which I think is about 2 hours, and the driver explained to me about Ramadan. And at the time, I thought it was like anti-Christmas, in the sense that here Christmas is very materialistic, and the idea of fasting appealed to me, as it was sort of like giving up material things and self-control and that kind of thing, which appealed to me as well. So I came to know a lot more about Islam while I was in Indonesia. But what sealed the deal for me was, I met a guy and he made Islam look like something that I could be a part of. When I was in Indonesia, I was like, oh, well, Islam's a very nice religion, but, that's for those people, but I'm Christian. But the gentleman, who is now my husband, made it seem like something that I could do, and I found out that it kind of fitted more with what I believed as a Christian. I think as a Christian, I was trying to fit Islamic beliefs about God into it, which didn't really work. Trying to fit Islamic ideas into Christianity, that is, which didn't work. So I found that Islam aligned more with my beliefs about God. And I found that prayer was quite, it was good to take that time out and remember God. So I kind of liked those sort of aspects, the ritual behind it, that you could go to when you needed it, to take time out and contemplate. When I decided to convert to Islam, I told the people I met through my husband that I wanted to do this, but I told them not to tell my husband, because to me it was so important that he wasn't my husband at the time too. It was important to separate my becoming Muslim from him, because no matter how wonderful I think he is, he's not worth waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to pray. Really, he's not worth it. So I really wanted in my mind to separate my coming to Islam from him. So that's how I did it. I tried to keep it sacred. It only lasted like an hour. I think he knew what was going on.